What up? What up? Welcome to the Crown and Stitch podcast. My name is Nick Ingval. I'm with my guys Dexter and Keith to talk about some fitteds. We're gonna get a little bit nasty with this one because we got some ugly stuff to talk about. So apologies in advance. Sorry, not sorry. What's good, fellas? How you guys doing?
Man, doing pretty good. Ready for some fan bases to maybe slightly hate us after today's episode.
Yeah, no, they really gonna hate me. I got some bombs to drop. Like, man, call me Andre and Big Boy because his bombs were Baghdad out here. And no, this is not any of the ugly logos. Okay, this is the pretty ones right here. Okay, haters.
Oh, see, I thought you came prepared. You know, like I didn't want to say anything.
Oh,
but...
I'll say something.
All right, so let's start off talking about what we are rocking. Who wants to go first?
I think that's you, Dexter.
You know what it is. You see it. This is Seattle Seahawks. This is like late 70s up to like 93 logo right here. This is based on the American Indian natives right here. If you go up to Seattle, you see a lot of totem poles up in the sky and all the stuff right here. Seattle Seahawks right here, baby. Oh, also Griffey.
I wish I could say.
Come on.
Much better. Much better. I like the Griffey. I'm rocking this is the Japanese Bonsai Garden Pirates hat from Sports World. Has the 06 All-Star patch on it. Like a kind of like a weird green undervisor, infrared crown.
It's a good one. It's a good one. I do have to say, like, I love the Seattle Seahawks logos. I don't like the new, like, Nike neon green type stuff, but like the old Seahawks stuff, it's good. I can't.
They're supposed to be bringing that helmet back because, you know, they were getting real strict about teams. You could have a throwback jersey, but they wouldn't let all of them wear a throwback helmet. And I think they're finally going to let them bring the old school helmet back this year. So we shall see.
Yeah, I saw some interesting stuff. You know, as you said, basketball season's over, so football is all over the place, and everybody's getting ready for it. I saw the Carolina Panthers teasing the new all black logo, all black, you know, uniform and helmet, which
they're trying to be like the Ravens.
Yeah, I think it's dope though. And like that blue on the Panthers is just a nice pop color if you're in all black anyway. But let me get back to it. I'm rocking the I forget how long ago this is from, but on-field spring training, I want to say from like 2017, something like that. Giants hat, you know, what do? You know, you got like 50 Giants hats to choose from, and typically I just wear the same ones all the time. So I figured I'd dig a little deeper, switch it up. On the other podcast that I have with Todd and Rowett, Exhaust Notes, talking about Formula One, Todd was giving me a hard time because this is the team that I am not a fan of in Formula One. And if you're into Formula One, you should check that podcast out. But, you know, I'm a Giants fan, so black and orange till I die. Just bury me in it.
There you go.
So, how do we want to start this? You know, like this is a touchy subject for some people, probably. So, trigger warning: you might be offended because we might call your favorite team's logo terrible. But also, like, I got to be honest, I'm gonna go at like the way people think about making logos. So I'm just gonna go straight at the designers. Sorry in advance, you're a headwear designer. But
so hold on, let me start this off because we were talking about this one day in our little text thread, and I had saw something. I think I sent y'all a screenshot, and I was like, "Yo, we got to start talking about some ugly logos. This is just horrific." I will get into that in a minute, specifically what I was talking about. And actually, that logo is so bad, it's growing on me. It's like, you know, when your child comes out and it looks, you know, deformed, you know, you're like, damn, man, what did I do wrong? You're like, you know what? Nah, it's my little guy, man. Come over here, you know. But, you know, tough love. But I think we should go like in a serpentine, like fantasy football kind of way. Let's start off, you know, one person at a time, you know, going into some logos that we think are hideous or, quirky or whatever. And then, how you guys think about that?
That works. That works.
I like that idea.
So before we do that, last episode we talked about, or you guys talked about, I forget what it was, that a logo or a hat that had grown on you that you didn't like at first. Was that what was that?
It was a specific hat?
I forget.
Not the Ox Pack, right? Oh, the City Connect.
Oh, yeah.
Giants hats, right? Same thing for me. Like, when I first saw that, I was like, man, well, one, I think the logo on the jerseys is basically a direct ripoff of old Benny Gold stuff, right? Like, if you're around the Bay, Benny Gold was doing like the bridge out of the fog on all sorts of shirts, all sorts of designs, all sorts of, even like billboards and stuff. So you've probably seen it. But then like on the jerseys, that's the thing that bothers me. The hats, however, have definitely grown on me. I love the Golden Gate. You could throw the Golden Gate on damn near anything, and like it makes it better for me. So I think I should preface anything that I say as a little PSA. I'm not responsible for contradicting myself right here, because everything that I'm saying right now might change in like 2 months after I stare at stuff long enough, because that's what happened with that City Connect hat. I was not into it. It was like, yeah, it's not the right orange. It feels a little off.
Yeah, it feels a little bright.
I still am not a fan of the uniforms, but yeah, now it's like, I kind of need one of those. So I'll let you get back to it, Dexter. You can start us off now. I had to throw that out there, though.
If I'm starting it off, this is the hat I was talking about, I sent them. This is a 1927 Tigers logo that they only wore for 2 seasons. You got to look at this damn thing. It's ugly as hell. It looks like, as Keith says, a kindergartner drew it, right? But I would say this is like a kindergartner who was on acid drew it. Like, what the hell? This thing looks terrible. Obviously 1927, they didn't have much of a quality control department, because I feel like they let somebody's kid drew it. They're like, yep, that's going to be us. Now, obviously, that wasn't on their hat logo, but that was the team's logo for 2 whole seasons. And I just think it's hideous, but I had to buy it for this episode, so it's grown on me, and I've worn it, and people were like, yo, what is that? Is that a baseball team? I'm like, yeah, it was 100 years ago.
I mean, and to give credit, something that's 100 years old, I don't expect it to be like well designed and well thought of and perfect the way I do now, right? New stuff is the stuff that bothers me when it comes to like logos and design and all that stuff, right? And one of the things that like just super bugs me is like if you go to, a minor league team, for instance, you go to like who was it that I was just thinking of? The Greenville Reds, right? Team, I think, came up in like 2017 or 18. All they did was take the C of the Cincinnati Reds and turn it into a G, and that's their logo. It's the laziest thing. Like, don't get me wrong. If I was a Reds fan, I would feel differently about it, because like, yeah, stick to the theme. We're all one family kind of thing. Because in one of the recent episodes, one of my pickups is a San Jose Giants hat that I've been wanting to pick up a new one for a long, long time. I haven't had one for probably a decade. But like that logo is the same color and a similar font, but also not exactly the same in terms of like, that doesn't have the like same exact San Francisco logo twisted into a new thing. It'd be like if like I took the Giants logo, or if the River Cats here in Sacramento as the minor league team took the Giants logo and were like, we're only going to have a logo that says SAC or something. Sometimes that's cool. Don't get me wrong. But if that's your main logo for your team, like, why would I want to wear a Greenville Reds hat unless I'm from Greenville, which, no offense, if you're from there, if that's
Where
your
the hell
hometown,
is Greenville?
love your hometown. I don't know, but like Cincinnati, like you're gonna wear the major league team more often than not, in my opinion, unless you have that personal connection. So like it's almost like you're not thinking about how the internet levels the playing field, right? Like we're buying hats from teams and stories, and we talked about on the last episode. You know, we're being introduced to all these new places and people and stories that make us more interested in, like, you know, we're looking at hats based on beer packs, and odds are in the next 5 to 10 years, the three of us will go to different places and go to these places based on something we learned from a fitted. And that's why I think it's just like such a boring way to approach a team logo, in my opinion.
It's lazy.
But I'll end there and throw it back to you guys and let you guys talk a little bit, because I think I could get a little worked up about this because it really bothers me.
So Dexter, you said that Tigers hat was like 1927 when that came out, when that was their logo. I mean, most of the logos from that era were usually just basic like letters, right? I mean, that's probably, I would assume, one of the few that actually have like a graphic logo or like, you know, a drawing of a tiger or whatever it is, right?
One of your favorite logos, Cardinals, they've always had fire logos.
All of them.
1922, they had a primitive version of their one right now with the Cardinals, with the bat, with the birds fly.
What I will say is I will give that Tigers logo an A for effort. I mean, the execution leaves a little bit to be desired, but you know, we will there will be more to come. So the way I did my list too, it was not specifically only logos of teams, but also certain hats. And the first one that I found that was absolutely atrocious was, I want to say it was probably from like the 80s. It was a Padres hat. It was a pillbox hat. It had a yellow, like an off yellow crown, and it had lateral brown stripes across it. It looked like a damn beehive. And it was so bad. And I think just like the shape of the pillbox hat too, it made it look so much worse. But just like the colors, I don't think the lateral stripes going across the crown ever look good, but just like with the combination of colors and stuff, it looked like, I don't know, like Winnie the Pooh wanted to stick his hand down the inside of that hat or something. It was really bad.
Yeah, I also was going to put one of the Padres in there, but I was going with the late 80s when they had the Dookie Brown with the orange.
Oh, the Tony Gwynns?
It looked like a muni bus. Yeah, pretty bad.
I mean, it's funny you bring that up though, because I was actually just going to say all the pillbox era. I know this is a maybe a little too hot of a take for a lot of people listening and watching, because a lot of people really love, like, especially the Padres, the Pirates, you know, the old Mets. Like, I can't stand any of them. Like, you could throw out all of those for me. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love seeing the old pictures, you know, like I just posted one on the Instagram today, you know, at Crown and Stitch, if you're not following. But like, to me, those hats are only for nostalgia purposes. They're maybe going to go on display. You know, you have your sports bar one day and you might hang them up above the bar or something, right? But like, I'm never wearing those. I think they look ridiculous on head. I think they look even more ridiculous now because they just don't seem to fit. They don't seem to fit in any way that like makes sense to me, I guess is the best way to put it. But that was actually one of the few things that I had on my list today too.
Real quick, for the people who aren't who are just listening, who don't know anything about fitted hats, explain to the people what a pillbox hat is. And also, you might need to do a post on the Crown and Stitch with a bunch of ugly ass pillbox hats.
Yeah, so basically, like, a pillbox is kind of literally like pill shape, like a pillbox shape almost. Like, so there's no squatchy typically, or if there is, it's the top of the hat is flat, and the top of the hat is not a crown, right? So that said, by nature, Crown and Stitch and Squatchy Gang, I don't even think that we can be talking about this on this podcast now. But It's really just like a flat topped baseball hat from the, I want to say 70s, late 70s, early 80s. I guess it dates back a little bit later and a little bit further back in the 70s, but like probably from like 73 to about 85 or so, 84, 83, 84 maybe. A lot of the teams had them, you know, maybe not a lot, a good percentage of the teams had them. And it was during this era where, you know, you didn't have the standards the way we have now, right? Like we talked about it in an earlier episode, new era taking over on-field stuff really kind of made it to where everybody had the same thing. And now we're kind of in a place where we're seeing, you know, City Connect jerseys that are kind of out there comparatively to the team colors. But most of these hats all had the horizontal stripes around the hats as well. And I mean, I'm not a fan of the way that looks visually. I think it's I think pinstripes are meant to be vertical, especially when it comes to baseball. But you know, it is something that is kind of, you know, it's nostalgic. If you came up and you were a you know, young teenager or a young kid watching your favorite players playing that stuff, like, you know, you probably love that stuff. And I understand that, but for me, it's so far off that I just can't, I can't really even appreciate it enough to like, you know, it just, man, it just bothers me.
It's meant to stay in the past.
Yeah, it's odd for me to say that as somebody who runs a whole thing called Sneaker History, and you know, like basically is always talking about nostalgic stuff and nostalgic collectible stuff, but like those for some reason are just like, nah, fam, I'm good. Keep that.
Dexter, what do you got next for another ugly logo for us?
Sorry, I was on eBay searching for pillbox hats right now. All right, I'm going to stick with Detroit, and I'm going to go with not the coked out tiger, but the tripping balls tiger right here. This dude's high as shit. Look at it. He's like, where am I? It's like DMT tiger right here. He is gone. He's out there. So yeah, this one is growing on me a lot more than the other one because I mean, just look at it. At least there's some detail and some art that's going on here. I don't know why his eyes are like this. Like, this isn't scary. Like, he looks like an accident, you know? So sorry, Detroit, but I had to drop my first two on you guys. But I did buy the hat, so I'm supporting y'all somehow.
See, that was the fourth grade drawing of the tiger logo. The other one was the kindergartner acid. That they stepped
This is
their
like
game up
a real high teenager, like a sophomore in high school, maybe.
Smoking weed for the first time or something. All right. My next logo, it actually wasn't on a hat. It was the Red Sox alternate logo between the years of 1950 and 1959. And it literally is a red sock with a face on it wearing a headband. And like where the toe of the sock is his chin. And I don't even know how else to explain it. It's probably it is one of the worst logos I have ever seen. And I don't know how it lasted 9 years, but like, it is like literally like a bright crimson red, like it looked like the crimson chin of socks. And, so that's 2 thumbs way down for 9 years of an alternate logo for the Red Sox.
I'm looking right now and I can't find it. I'm not looking hard enough, am I? You said 1950 to what? I know what it looks like, but I wanted to look at it.
50 to 59. Yeah, if you go on that link that you sent us earlier, go click on the Red Sox and it'll pop up.
Oh, I'm dumb. I clicked on the Reds.
Nick, what do you got for your next one while Dexter does his search?
Oh God, it's so bad.
This is
the sock. It looks like a chin, but it also looks it could be like a male member. I implore everyone to look up 19. Hold on, I think we should probably put all these in the description or something because my God.
Yeah. Actually, I'll have time, so I'll edit them into this episode.
Please do.
I'll be able to do that. Yeah, it's crazy. So this next one for me is I don't know how it's a very personal, weird kind of love-hate relationship because I like to eat. If you know me, I like to eat. But it kind of drives me crazy when teams do food logos. I say that knowing that, the churros and, like the tacos and,
my hamburger hat.
Like there's a very specific, yep. There's a very specific part of it though, that like drives me crazy. So that is super dope because the hat is actually unique, right? The logo is cool. It's not just like, here's the thing, right? So like Fresno Grizzlies did like tacos on the hat at one point. I can't remember if it was just the Fresno tacos or something. I love tacos. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on tacos in any way, shape, or form. But the fact that the logo is just a taco and has nothing on it other than a taco is like, what? Like, that doesn't, like, come on, put some more effort in. So, like, what is it? San Jose did the churros, right?
Yeah.
And, like, there's a little bit of a character in it, right? Like, that makes it interesting to me. I think it's the Iron Pigs. It's Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs did like a bacon version of their logo, right? For whatever themed night. But the hat is literally just a strip of bacon across the hat. Come on, you could there's got to be a way for you to be more creative than just being like, let's make a cartoon version of bacon and put it on the hat. I don't know. It just, that, like, I feel like it just is like super lazy. It's kind of like what Dexter said in the last episode about copying and pasting, right? Like, if you just went on, Microsoft's clip art and found bacon, or like, that's the new team logo.
Bacon.
Right? Like, I don't know. Get creative with it. There's got to be something that you could do to make that a little more interesting. But there's a bunch of teams in minor league baseball that have been doing it lately. And I think the themed nights and mixing it up is super dope. I love that. I think it's especially cool because you can get very specific around your team or potentially the region that you're in. And like, again, going back to that educational piece where you're like opening people's minds to something that they didn't know about. If you had, I don't know, Sacramento is known for tomatoes, like if you had a tomato themed night for the River Cats here in Sacramento, but like, you're telling a story. So it's like, you don't just put a tomato on the hat, you make it, give that tomato some swag, man. Like, make it fun, make it something the kids want to remember. But I digress. It's just one of those things that bothers me.
Nick, I got a question. What if they just slapped a burrito on a hat? Would that be acceptable?
Oh, they've done that.
I mean,
somebody's done that.
Yeah, it's out
Nick
there.
probably has one.
I don't. It's hard for me to talk down on burritos. So I don't know if I can answer that. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
Okay.
All right, who's it on?
I think
Go
that's
for
you
it.
again.
Oh, okay. All right, this one is going to be the Baltimore Orioles with the bird. Now, not the cartoon funny bird with the hat, which they started off, that was the original logo, and then they brought it back in 2012. Mine is when they started in 89 to 2011, which is just a literal bird. It looks like the most generic orange and black bird. Like, that's what when I remember Cal Ripken, they had the worst hat logos. I was like, what? It just looks like a bird outside my window. Like, there's nothing like funny about it. There's nothing with like, it just looks like a textbook bird. It looks terrible. I still hate it. And like, the more and more the years went on, the more realistic the bird got. And I was like, like at least this looks like something, like Like, this doesn't look like an actual tiger. Like, their thing was like, oh, we're going to go to the Smithsonian and slap a real ass bird on our hat. It looks terrible. And thank God they brought back the little clown looking cartoonified bird. But yeah, Orioles from 89, 2011. That's why they sucked, because of that logo.
And you're not talking about that stick figure looking one, right? Where it's just like the outline. You're talking about the detailed, like
the detailed one is from
actual
from
bird.
89 up to 2011. It's just like,
okay.
It's terrible.
See, I think that stick figure one is a little bit worse, where it's just like the outline and with a couple little details. I think that's a little worse, but the Smithsonian Oriole is not great either. I will say that.
Especially because like the cartoon Oreo logo is so great, right?
Exactly.
It's amazing.
So they went from like the most cartoonified
next-
bird to the most realistic bird, and then right back to the most cartoonified bird. Like, they obviously knew they fucked up for 20 years.
Yeah. They had to backpedal real quick on that one. The next one for me is going to be the Pirates logo from 1967 to 1986. That was that Mel Gibson looking pirate. I think the logo is like within a little rectangle, but literally the pirate looks like Mel Gibson. And actually the logo they had just before that too, it's like a cartoonish pirate with like a 5 o'clock shadow. And that one's really bad too. So like they hit a solid, like, I think 30 or 40 year gap where their logos were not doing so hot in Pittsburgh.
Oh my God. I kind of like the one with the 5 o'clock shadow. Looks like Captain Hook.
That's yeah. I mean, it's better than the Mel Gibson one, but I'm not really a fan of either.
Oh God, you're right. It doesn't like Mel Gibson.
The last thing that I had put in my notes is just another kind of weird, quirky thing for me personally. The NBA logos, like, there are a lot of amazing NBA logos, but one thing that drives me crazy is when not the entire league, there's like, I'd say a dozen or more teams in the NBA right now where their kind of logo is actually just like a circle, right? And it's like, for instance, like the Wizards, right? Their logo is like the basketball star Washington Wizards. I think the Mavericks are kind of that way too right now. So it's like Dallas Mavericks around a basketball, whatever. I don't think that it's necessarily like terrible, but it seems super boring when you look around the league and like you've got like the Lakers have the basketball integrated into their logo. And I hate the Lakers, and I'm just going to give them props because the Lakers logo is super dope. It looks like Showtime, right? The Utah Jazz logo. I'm not a Jazz fan. I'm not a Jazz basketball fan. Jazz music fan, yes. But like the colors on that logo, I can't stand together. I would never buy anything in those color combos, really. But that logo itself is super, super dope. And then you just look around and like the Raptors, for instance, the Raptors like official logo right now, I think is, or they might have just changed it, but is like
right.
The basketball in the middle with the claw or whatever. And then it says Toronto Raptors around it. The 76ers, same kind of thing, right? It's 76ers, basketball, stars on the bottom. And I don't know if the league required them to make logos like that at some point. It feels like it because they're all so damn the same. But, you know, it's just like I miss the late 90s, early 2000s era where you had like the Timberwolves with the crazy logos, the Atlanta Hawks with the crazy jerseys, the Milwaukee Bucks with the crazy jerseys. And it's off from the fitted conversation, but I think that for me personally, the aesthetic of your team, your sports logo, your brand, your company, all depends on where that starting point is. And if that starting point is like really basic, then that basicness is just going to bleed into everything you do, which is not good for anybody, in my opinion. So
yeah, it seems like half of the logos have that circle you're talking about And you would think like, oh, circle because of basketball. Most of them have nothing to do with the shape of a basketball. They're kind of boring. You're right.
It'd be,
One of the-
you know, and maybe the league was like, we should make it basketball shaped or something. I don't know. But like, if that's the case, then you would think that they would have the basketball in them, but most of them don't, right? Like, I think the new Hawks logo is that way, right? Where it's like, I mean, you know, the Hawks logo, and sometimes they pull it out of that circle, but I'm trying to think, it's like, it's literally just says Atlanta Hawks, and it's that like red and white Hawk logo from back in the day, kind of in a circle, right? It's so boring.
One of the worst ones to me right now is the Clippers too. The LA with like the sea going around it. It's still kind of like the same shape you're talking about, but it's like, it's so generic and basic and bad. You know, it's like you can do so much more with that.
Yeah. So that makes me wonder, like, you know, the Clippers, I actually want to get one of the Clippers jerseys that they did with like Mr. Cartoon a couple years ago. So like, how do you guys feel? We talked a little bit about the Giants City Connect jerseys, but that's a little too personal, I think, for all of us as Giants fans. How do you feel about these kind of, you know, it's mostly Nike, right? It's just a good way to like market, get people excited about the team and sell more jerseys, sell more hats. But I was thinking about this the other night watching the Giants game. It was a little ways back, but they were playing the Padres, right? The Padres City Connect jerseys and fitteds are wild. Like the colors are like neon pink, neon green, neon orange. Like it was just like, what is this?
Like a Taco Bell.
It looked like, yeah, it looked crazy. At first, I was kind of like, this is lame. But then as I'm watching it, like the dude pitching for the Padres, I forget who it was now, but is wearing essentially like the City Connect jerseys. One sleeve is, I think, pink, one sleeve is yellow, and he like flipped it and had a pink cleat on the other foot and a yellow cleat on the other. Bright neon colors. I have like a very like love-hate relationship with the Nike approach to all this stuff, mainly because I'm kind of just traditional when it comes to, I mean, look, I wear a Giants hat, a pretty basic Giants hat 90% of the time. And I'm just very traditional in the terms of sports logos, jerseys, uniforms, you name it. But they do get they've done some really creative things, and the Kings had some really good City Connect jerseys the last few years. I mean, I don't know, like, is it good? Is it bad? Like, how do you guys feel about that?
You know, most of the City Connect jerseys that I see, I don't like them right off the bat. You know, a lot of like just like the color schemes they're doing, like you said, it's some off the wall, wild, crazy stuff. And I don't think a lot of them are executed very well. But especially with a sport like baseball, I feel like I understand what they're trying to do, trying to incorporate, you know, some of the new, just something new and give it some life and some energy and stuff. And there's some that are actually really good. Like, I mean, it's a little more basic. The Royals looks really good to me. The Nationals with the cherry blossoms on it, I really like that. The Angels, that's their whole City Connect uniform kind of looks like a surfboard, you know. So some of them are cool. A lot of them are not. So I understand what they're trying to do, and I appreciate that. But like I said, it's just a lot of it's just kind of the execution too, and I think the execution leaves something to be desired most of the time with those.
Yeah, like historically, baseball, you had like some of the teams would go crazy, like in the 70s, 80s, they throw the little baby blue out there. So they had the alternate jerseys, but like teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Giants, they weren't really going so crazy with the other things. But now with this, you know, City Connect, like every team has to have some bizarre jerseys. So I think they're missing it a lot on the baseball tip. I like the Giants ones because they stick to you know, Giant stuff. Basketball, they've had alternate jerseys since the 80s and 90s, and then it wasn't about marketing and trying to, oh, we just got to make jerseys every year so we can sell more. Like the Magic's jerseys, they had the white, then they had the black, and then they had the blue. The Hornets had the white, the blue, and then the purple, you know. Miami Heat threw a red in there. So but now it's kind of oversaturation, like I said on the last episode. So I'm not mad, but I think baseball is kind of missing it a little bit. They're going a little too crazy.
Yeah, and like I feel the same way, and I kind of was thinking to myself, am I just like the old man yelling at the cloud right here? You know, kind of like hating on this because I'm old and want it to stay comfortable for me, or am I because as a baseball fan, I want to see more fans for the sport, right? Like it's definitely been missing in the past decade or so. In that, I mean, other than being a Giants fan, because we actually were winning for a little bit there, and you know that brings people in just by nature. But the sport itself has been, you know, it's not as fast paced, it's not as entertaining as like watching basketball, right? It's tough. It's tough for new people to get into it because it's a slower paced game, and there's a lot of nuance and there's a lot of unwritten baseball rules that kind of keep it more traditional, which is also some of the stuff that I love about it. So yeah, it's just an interesting thing. I'd love to know from anybody that's watching or listening, what do you think about the City Connect stuff? Because I do think with baseball, like to Dexter's point, it's almost like they stepped a little too far with some of these teams where, you know, you can do that with basketball, I think, and even with football a little bit, but I don't know. But we're getting pretty wrapped up, close to wrapping up on the time. So let's talk about new pickups. You want to talk about another new pickup? You want to talk about kicks and fits? What do we want to do next?
Hold on. Let me just drop some honorable mentions real quick on the ugly list. Just real quick.
List going.
I got at least one more too. Let's do it.
Okay. My bad.
The Washington Nationals.
Rapid fire.
The Washington Nationals Walgreens logo. Like you just stole that from Walgreens. Period. Like I don't care.
That's a good one. You're tripping.
The new Miami Marlins logo, like they changed with the colors like they had when they bought the new stadium, and then they just toned it all down. I don't like it. It don't look good. The Dodgers, every logo they've ever had, trash. Get out of here. And since I'm not just dogging on the Dodgers, I also the Giants batting practice logo 2001 2008. I'm not a fan. The little cursive G, I ain't like it. Go ahead, Keith.
Oh man, I like that one.
I know.
See, I like that one too. Man, you just stole a couple of mine right off the top. Like you said, we're not going to have any people following our podcast from Southern California, but that's all right. So
hey,
no Dodgers.
But I gotta be fair. I actually like the Dodgers. So,
mute this man.
If I was not a Giants fan, the LA is good, right? But I actually like the Dodgers like logo, right? The Dodgers with the baseball shooting through. Like I think that's pretty dope. I mean, I'm going to edit this part out so nobody can hold me to that. But go ahead, Keith.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned the Marlins too, Dexter, because their current one is not great, but the one they had just before, it was like a couple years from like 2012 to 2014 is when they had like almost the same logo, but in orange. Yeah. All it reminds me of is that Marlins man that, you know, was sitting back behind home plate, like,
he's still there
with the visor and the bright orange. He probably is still there, but just that's the only thing I can think of when I see that logo, and it's just really, really bad. And last one, I don't think it was ever like a logo they use on field, but like when the Astros had those like tequila sunrise, like gradient jerseys, they had like a gradient A on their hat, and a lot of companies are using that right now, and they're really popular hats. But I just really don't like that gradient A. They do it in all types of colors now, but back then, you know, it kind of matched those tequila sunrise jerseys with the oranges and yellows and reds and stuff like that. So
the Nolan
that
Ryan
A logo, exactly, yeah, that's a no go on that A logo for me.
I didn't come with enough hate for all these logos. I should have. I feel like I need to go back to the drawing board.
I mean, my pickups I already showed. These are my ugly pickups right here. I don't know if y'all got something y'all want to show, but yeah, that's it for me.
I mean,
I do have one. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say my pickup is really the one that I talked about on the last episode, because I picked up the beer pack Anchor Steam Giants joint.
That's so nice. That's that old like 60s, 70s logo, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's also flat compared to a lot of the other newer.
Yeah, I think originally it was flat.
Yeah.
I know last episode I was talking about like certain companies re-releasing hats that sell out quite quickly, and so I was able to catch a restock on this Toppers Bison.
Nice.
How many of those
Black
Bison's
with the
hats
red
you
under.
have? Like
Yeah,
at least
you
5,
got
right?
a lot of those Bison's hats going now.
I'm only at number 3, but
Oh, okay.
hopefully more to come. But they've been dropping them like crazy lately. I've been seeing them. They're getting a little bit easier to get now. So, I was trying for so long that now I feel like anytime I see one drop, I just have to try and scoop it up and, buy now, think later type of thing.
It's getting to be that
All
way.
right, kicks and fits.
Let's do it.
Who's going first?
I'll go first.
All right.
There we go.
I know I had mentioned before, since we're doing the ugly logo episode, I felt like I had to bust out probably my ugliest kicks and fits. Hopefully ugliest on the pod. When you're at like the Nike outlet and you see something that you think should be worth like cost more money, I ended up picking up these denim 6s for like $80, and the materials are really bad. And I mean, thinking back on it, it's not a great shoe. It's I guess not terrible, but of course I didn't have anything denim to match, so I went on like the New Era website and bought this monstrosity.
Oh,
it just
Jesus.
has random Giants patches all over it, and I never wear it. But
Is
it
that a
matches
fitted
the
hat?
shoes. No, it's a snapback.
I can tell.
But yeah. I don't know what I was thinking, but it kind of matches the theme of the episode. So these ones stay in the closet. But yeah, that's the kicks and fits for the ugly logo episode.
It is funny though, because I actually like those shoes. Like I haven't seen them in person ever, but I thought I was going to actually try to get a pair when they came out. And for some reason I just completely spaced on when they dropped and never went back to them. Like it just is moving so fast. So I'm glad to know that they're not worth it.
I mean, I'll still throw them on probably every once in a while. I need to get back to them, but yeah, not with that hat. I'm not going with the all denim fit like it's like the early 2000s. Man.
You got to come with the Canadian tuxedo, man.
Oh, so I need the denim jacket too.
Oh, you know what you need to do? You need to combine those two things. You need a Canadian tuxedo, but you need to go like early 2000s, like NASCAR, or what were those NBA like jean shorts with every team logo on them?
You probably find someone's on eBay for like $6.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing tomorrow, first thing in the morning. I'm on the hunt.
All right, go ahead, Dex.
My new Nick. Okay, me. All right. Well, to keep it with my Seattle theme, since football season's coming around, we got training camp coming up in a little bit. I got Griffey. I got the Seahawks. So I'm pulling out the Seahawks fitted hat, 10th year anniversary NFL patch, white guts with the LeBron 15 Griffey Max.
Nice.
Ooh, that's a good
Yeah,
pick.
it is.
Yeah, right there. See that LeBron logo, and you see where's Griff at? Oh, it's a LeBron dunk logo, but Griffey's on here somewhere. Or it might be on the other shoe, whatever the case. But yeah. That's mine.
I like that 10th anniversary logo on that Seahawks hat though. Like this super dope way to just
nice.
like.
That's right. Go Hawks. That's right. I'm glad you guys are coming along on me. They're gonna be rocking the teal and blue coming up soon.
All right,
So your team Drew Lock, huh?
I'll go with Reebok Answer 4s.
Yeah.
This is the kind of the alternate colorway that Allen Iverson wore during the 2001 finals, wore for a couple games actually, but most of the people know the other version of the black toed version, which was a step over. And then this particular colorway, this flipped version. So this shoe, the normal release is like black up here, white through here, white on the back. So like this is one of those ones for me as a Iverson collector has been kind of on the list for a long time to get. This is just a new, I haven't worn this yet, but picked it up a few months back or maybe even longer. Undefeated, fitted, nothing on the side, but it was part of their, like, I forget what they called it, but like their store packs So each store had like its own logo. So this was
Japan?
The Japan logo, the Japan flag on the side. And I think I shared on the podcast before the like LA, the blue version had the American flag on it, and I picked that one up too. So,
I like that one though with the Japanese flag on it. That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I think it's dope. I mean,
Clean looking hat.
It's kind of I don't necessarily wear the undefeated stuff that much. I mean, I definitely have plenty of like t-shirts and stuff throughout the years, but like the fitteds, I don't throw them on very often, as you can tell. Like this one's sitting here with a tag on still, but I always love that logo so much. It's just like kind of classic. It just looks dope to me, but I don't wear them for some reason. So
we're gonna need to see you in that one soon.
All right. Well, I guess the only thing left to do is tell everybody how to find us outside of the podcast.
You can find me at Keith the Sneak with 2 Ks on the end. IG, Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. More importantly, follow at Crown and Stitch on all the platforms.
You can find me at Smooth as Eggs on everything. Industry Specials, my other podcast. Follow on that. If you see me out in these music venues, concerts, and you see me with a nice fitted on, don't be ashamed to say hi. Let's get a selfie. Let's post that thing on Crown and Stitch.
Let's do it. You can find me at Nick Ingval on all the platforms, at Sneaker History everywhere. More importantly, hop into the Discord. We got growing community there. Crown and Stitch, Exhaust Notes, Sneaker History. We got some more stuff on the way with a couple of other members from the community. And thanks for rocking with us. Thanks for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. Go Niners. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Go Hawks.
Peace.
Damn right.